This is a 1979 Camaro Z28, done in a beautiful burgundy metallic. This car was painted approximately 20 years ago. Previous owners had this car for the last 22 years. He bought it, he put the new decals and stuff on it at that point when he bought it, and had it painted, and that's exactly how it sits today. He also pulled the original engine out of it. We do have the original block come with it. He pulled the original heads off the block and stuff like that, and went ahead and put that on this motor. This is a built 350. It's got headers, comes equipped with power steering, power brakes, 4-barrel carburetor, and this motor really runs strong. If the next owner wants the original block, you know, it definitely needs to be rebuilt, but we can find a way to get that shipped out to you. Bottom of the hood's all been painted flat black, looks very presentable. Engine compartment is not show quality, but it's very presentable for a nice driver. It's got electronic ignition. New alternator's been put on the car. Radiator looks fairly new on it. Engine runs really nice, and like I said, it's a very strong running car down the road. Now the odometer on the car says 21,700, and the previous owner said that's about what's on the motor. So on the motor rebuild and stuff, and on the restoration when he did it, it was approximately at 0 on the odometer. So that's kind of what's on the motor, just so you know, over the last 20 years. And with this paint job being 20 years old, it looked great when it came in, and we completely buffed it, polished it, waxed it, and it really looks nice now. I mean, you cannot tell that this paint job is 20 years old. It shines everywhere. We did take and replace this lower grill piece here, so that's replaced. The top grill is in excellent shape. I don't see any cracks in that top grill. Marker lights and stuff here. There's a little yellowing around, a little dirtiness around the edges of those. They're original. We do have also some little paint chips right here at the front nose, and a little bit of spider webbing right along this bottom here. But really, this front nose for a Camaro is in excellent shape. I don't see any spider webbing or anything up top. We have a few little chips like this you're going to see on it here and there. But I would definitely give the paint an 8.5 out of 10. I mean, this paint shines beautiful. The body is super straight. Just a very, very nice car. Our hood gap looks good from the front to the back here on the passenger side. Lines up nice with the top of the fender. Same thing over here, nice even gap. Fits nicely. We're going to have a bunch of little paint chips, odds and ends, like I just showed you there. You're going to have a couple. There's one here in the top of the fender. But this car does not need a paint job. It's very, very slick and smooth. Here's another little paint chip right along this top of this hood. As we look at our windshield, I don't see any bullseye cracks or anything there. The mirror's nice and tight. Our gap is great on the front of the door, and the sticker lines up very nicely. As we look at the lower front fender, I don't see any blisters there. I don't see any other paint imperfections anywhere in that front fender, except for we got one tiny little chip there. As we look around this car, I noticed this when we buffed it. It does have a few fish eyes here and there. If you look right down upon deep into that paint, where in that clear coat, it might have got just a little bit of fish eyes. I don't know if we can see it. Yeah, it's got quite a few fish eyes right here in this top of this back quarter. It's got quite a few of them. If you look right on top of it, you're not going to see it in the video, and if you stand back 3 foot, you can't see it. I can't see it here, but when you look right down upon it, you can see that in that clear coat there is some fish eyes on these tops of these quarters here. As we look at the top of the roof, there's no dings, no hail dents. T-tops look really nice. The paint's beautiful on the roof. No blisters in front of the wheel. It's all nice and and solid there. Just got a little rubbing compound there. And we got a couple paint chips right along this edge here. Along the bottom of the door, no blisters. Rocker panel all looks good. We got a few little chrome blemishes on that door handle there. Original door handle. Door opens easy. Rubbers are excellent. They were all replaced 20 years ago when the car was painted. We open up the door jambs. We still have these nice stoppers here. Corners of the door is perfect. They did do dual exhaust, but they didn't put tailpipes on it. So that's probably one thing that I would recommend to the next owner. The exhaust comes out in front of the rear tires under there. So if a guy put tailpipes on it, I think it would just make it that much nicer. As far as the door panels, all look original. Passenger door panel looks to be in great shape. Sorry about that glare. I don't know if you can try to get that out of there. Around this factory door handle, the black paint, you know, the detail on the black paint is starting to wear off there. But the door handle works fine. Also, this grab handle, which is pretty common, the rubber kind of broke around that grab handle a little bit. Other than that, the armrest is in great shape. Carpet on the bottom of the door is great. As we look at our door jambs, the door jamb paint is all covered well, but the quality of paint on the door jamb is not quite as nice as the paint on the exterior. But as you see, it all covered well. I don't see it's not chipped up or anything like that. You can just see that they just didn't finish it as good and around the edges as they did on the exterior. But they did paint with the doors off and everything. Now, it's got the original interior. It's a vinyl interior with the cloth inserts. We'll start here at the back. It does have the factory GM seat belts, black carpet, full console. The headliner is in great shape. A lot of times the headliners sag. I'm guessing this has been replaced. It's in great shape all around the T-tops and everything. The plastic is really nice around the T-tops. It's nice around the rear sail panels. Back in that corner. It does have some Jensen 6x9s in the rear shelf, and that all looks really nice. The hard plastic here is excellent. It's not faded. It's in really good shape. The seats themselves, we have a little cigarette burn here in this seat. The seats themselves are presentable for a driver, but if you want to take this car to the next level, I would definitely recover the front seats. The driver's side cloth seat has a tear in it. We got a little cigarette burn right here. It doesn't smell like smoke in here, but at one point it had a little burn there. Top of the back seat's in really good shape. So if we're gonna pick on anything on the interior, it's just this this cloth is just faded out a little bit. The passenger side is in good shape, but like you said, you can just see that it's got a few stains in it. You can see that it's faded out. I would probably recover the seats. The dash pad has some cracks right there by the Z28. And it's got a couple hairline ones right there. Other than that, over top of the gauge cluster and stuff is perfect. The paint on the dash is nice. This is a factory 4-speed, power windows, power locks. It is missing the original radio, but does have aftermarket gauges down there. And the oil pressure gauge works, temp gauge works, and the volt gauge is not hooked up down here because it's the factory one up there is hooked up and working. Door shuts easy, latches nice, and lines up beautifully. If we, sorry about the glare again, but if we look up and down the sides, it's a very dark color, so it'll show everything. And the body is very straight, beautiful shine. Behind the rear quarters is excellent. I don't see any blisters there. The back bumper piece is good. That's not beat up or cracked. That all looks in good shape. The tail light lenses are in beautiful shape on the passenger side. They're original, so we have some hairline cracks maybe in them, but they're very clear and very nice. I would not replace those. We do have just a little bit of spider webbing, lightly. I can't barely feel it, but right in this corner, right down here, there's one little paint, kind of a paint blemish right here on this plastic. It's not popping out or nothing like that, but on this spoiler there's a little paint blemish. Other than that, the trunk lid looks beautiful. I don't see any dings in that. Inside the trunk, here's another blemish, one on each side, guys, so I don't know what the deal is, just on that plastic. As far as the trunk goes, it's got the mat, it's got the space saver spare, it's got the jack, and the jack and the space saver, everything is in the platted case, so it looks really nice that way. As we look up and down the driver's side, just as nice, as straight as the passenger. Also, it's got the Goodyear Wingfoot tires, and the tread is great in all four corners, and the wheels are beautifully done. I mean, someone spent a lot of time and money doing these wheels. They're painted beautifully. Center caps are nice. Around the wheel wells, we have a paint chip right here, you can see, like a little touch-up. No blisters down low. Nothing over the wheel well. And nothing behind the wheel. So, very nice quarter over here on the driver's side. No blisters throughout here. That's in great shape. The roof rail rubbers, I didn't talk about that on the other side. I forgot to mention it. But they're very presentable. They could be the originals yet, but they're still pliable. I wouldn't mess with replacing them. Also, the window felts and stuff are in good shape original, so I wouldn't replace those as well. Fender gap, our gap is a little wider throughout here than it is at the very top. Not a big deal, it could easily be adjusted if you guys wants to loosen that up a little bit, but it doesn't come in contact, so we're going to leave it alone. Bottom of the front fender is excellent, no blisters, nothing I can see in the doors or rockers either. It's kind of hard to see down there, but it all looks nice and clean. Front fender, driver's side's beautiful. You can see your reflection anywhere you want in this car. It's got that nice of a shine. We have a little touch up right here, a little chip. It's been touched up. Both mirrors are super tight on the car. Driver's side door jamb. We got a little paint chip here. Other than that, there again, just like I said on the passenger side, the door jambs are all covered really well. It's just the finished bodywork, you know. They've got, you can tell they've got some dirt specks and stuff like that in the door jamb paint. It's got our factory sticker here. Corner of the door is absolutely perfect. Rubber's nice, door's nice. Whoever buys this car should be very satisfied with it. The paint and body, in my opinion, is super nice. Very nice driver quality on the upper end. The interior is original, so you're going to have, like I said, there's going to be some stains in that cloth, which you see here. There's some wear through right there, not all the way through, but the blacks wore down to kind of white. We have a little seam split here, right along here. You could sew it if you wanted to for now and get by with it, or have the seats redone, whatever you decide to do. Now, when I first brought this car out, we were running about 70 pounds of oil pressure. Sitting at an idle, it's been running here for about 10-12 minutes, so it's nice and warm. It's running right at 195 to 200 right now. And oil pressure is sitting at 26 pounds, and our idle is right around 700 RPM. Factory tach works, gas gauge works, volt gauge works, all on the dash. Down here, our temperature and our oil light work. Power windows work good. Power locks, if you can see there as I touch them, they're trying to work, but they're not working they're not going all the way down, so I'm guessing the power lock mechanism's a little weak. Power window works good on the driver's side as well. It's a nice cool morning here in Iowa. Dash pad has, I mentioned, just those couple little cracks right there. Right here, there's two. And then there's some cracks by the Z28. But your main focus as a driver is all up here, and it's in great shape. Steering wheel is the original to my knowledge, and looks great. It does have tilt column as well. Now the wipers work, but we do not have wiper blades on it. It needs wiper blades. Headlights all work. Heater fan works. shifts really nice. First, second, third, shifting actually with my left hand across my body, and it just shifts very smooth. As I mentioned before, the previous owner had this car for 20 to 22 years. Speedometer works great, tack works great. I mean, this was his driver, you know, weekend car. He took very good care of it. So, a couple things, like I said, it needs a wiper blade or wiper arms. I would probably, for the next owner, invest a little money and just put the tailpipes on it. They could just sound better. This car drives fantastic. You just heard me go through the gears. Speedometer works great. Tack works great. 70 mile an hour doing 3,500 RPM. Kind of tells you about our rear end gears a little bit. Does not need an alignment. The steering is excellent. Tires feel good. I don't feel a vibration at 60 to 70 mile an hour like I do in a lot of muscle cars. Really fun car, guys. For the money, it's a lot of car.